Well, hello. You might be surprised to see Witcher 3 finally getting a follow-up video, but believe me when I say, no one's as surprised as I am. Been well over a year since my girlfriend started her playthrough of The Witcher 3, and to anyone who's played the game before, you might be thinking, that's it?
Count me in.
Yeah, I don't really know how to take off my mask from the party.
Yes, the game is notoriously dense with content to do, and when I first sat her down to play last year, I did it without really considering the scope of how long a game this size would take her. In the past, the difficulty of games was what slowed her down, but here is the depth that we can blame.
Lower your shield, you coward.
I don't want to waste any more time than I already have, as some of you may have been waiting a full year for this video, so let's just jump right in and get to the point.
Whee!
Here's the story of what happened when I made my girlfriend finish The Witcher 3. When we last left off, she'd finished Velen and was getting lost in Novigrad. After more than a few rounds of cards, she'd managed to circle back to the main story and actually resume her hunt for Ciri.
All we gotta do is find Dudu.
So you must find Dudu in order to find Dandelion, with the aim of ultimately finding Ciri. Sounds like an awful lot of searching.
That's how I feel.
At the start of all of this, she wasn't exactly savvy. She could barely track down a pack of neckers, let alone her ashen-haired child of surprise. Back when she was blundering her way through things, she found it difficult to get into the story. Although at some point she stopped brute forcing stuff and subsequently everything changed.
Oh, I did something cool. Look, I updated all that. I had a bunch of stuff unlocked, so I added the blue mutagen here, and then I added all my blue ones.
Who knew upgrading your gear and sharpening your weapons made hunting dangerous beasts easier? Not just that, but she started brewing potions and studying monsters' weaknesses ahead of important battles too. I guess you could say things got a lot better once she finally embraced being a witcher.
Ever fight a witcher?
Ever fight a girlfriend?
Along with getting immersed with being a witcher, she also got immersed in the Witcher's world.
Vagrant.
Shut up.
As she started meeting more characters and making friends, she started to recognize people and become more and more invested in helping them out.
What's up, Dandelion?
In the first section of the game, during her adventures in Velen, she felt she mostly helped out a bunch of ungrateful strangers.
Stay back. Not one step closer.
Chill out.
Part of what made Novigrad special for her was she was helping people who Geralt was already friends with.
Zoltan, what are you doing here?
Zoltan! What?
They told me you like to putting on a play. Were you playing the lead?
I'm not the lead.
Oh, I thought to myself, I'd sooner shave my beard than miss that. Tell me what you...
The way Geralt and pals would talk and reminisce about things she wasn't privy to made her all the more interested in who these people were and what their history was. The characters in this game were just so authentic that you couldn't help but grow attached to them.
About to ask me for help, aren't you?
To pay off the debt, I've made up my mind to get serious about...
Oh my god, you're gonna gamble to pay off your debt?
Getting better by the minute.
Side quests no longer felt like chores to her. They were just favors for friends who would do the same for her in turn. It also helped that there were a lot more fun and lighthearted in Novigrad compared to the grittier and heavier atrocities she faced in Velen.
We must write an entire new play, from scratch. Something grand, something that will grab Dudu's attention.
Trying to find a missing friend. We're gonna write and design an entirely new
It's
play.
the talk of the town.
I love
If you
it.
wish we can
This
start.
is too funny. There's a cat! The cat's watching me be on stage. The cat really liked the play.
As a general rule, if I have to check on her to see if she's coming to bed, then chances are she's having a lot of fun with the game. It became obvious to me she was really enjoying things as I'd hear more and more about the game in our day-to-day lives. Sitting at home talking about our day, she'd tell me about how she had to find something in exchange for help with a problem, and it wouldn't even occur to me she meant the game until getting to the part where she got fed up with dialogue options and just opted to murder everyone in the room.
Gonna get in there. Better for you to let me in.
And if we don't, then what?
I'll kill you.
Joke.
Get there.
These people keep thinking that they can go up against a Witcher.
And reach for his weapon.
Like, what?
Plowing bastard.
It can't go unshared that part of how I got her hooked on The Witcher in the first place was with promises of horses to be ridden. That being said, Roach isn't allowed in the city of Novigrad, so we experienced a bit of a dry spell when it came to horseback riding. Although she was reassured that once she made it back to Skellige, she'd be back to roaming the wilderness.
That's right. I, a woman, am captain. Shocking as shit, I know.
No, that's cool.
Need to get to Skellige.
Not on this boat, you won't.
Thankfully, either Roach can swim or he knows magic, because somehow he found his way to Skellige.
Yo, Roach was on the roof.
She was finally on a horse and back in the saddle, but also not necessarily in the ways she was expecting.
Oh no. When are you gonna finally burn this piece of junk?
Yes, her adventure derailed quite a bit at this point in the story, but to be fair, romance is something she takes extremely seriously.
I shall wear black and white for the feast. I count on you to don something complimentary. Something that doesn't reek of 1,000 cups.
I have to match her?
Can't stand new doublets.
This segment of the game gets very flirty, and she ate it up hook, line, and sinker.
You smell wonderful.
Geralt, we're at a funeral.
You smell
You
wonderful.
smell wonderful at this funeral!
She really enjoyed playing Wingwoman and claimed that it was thanks to her feminine intuition that Geralt knew how to say all the right things.
You've clearly a notion of what women want, how they think.
Yeah, I do, because I am a woman.
Although the main mission slowed back down in this section due to all the dilly-dallying, it's not all the lovey-dovey stuff that's to blame. She was promised more horseback riding in this region, but no one ever said anything about all the boats. Anyone who's had the privilege of riding in a boat steered by her knows that being able to swim is a near necessity. Speaking from experience, sailing into dock with the ship still above the water is about all I can hope for from a voyage with her at the helm.
I crashed their boat.
Even just getting in and out of the ship is a bit of an ordeal. Not to mention she's added pressure from Yennefer to keep her dress dry. It's honestly a good thing that Yen prefers steering, because by that point in the story my girlfriend was just about tapped out from all the naval activity.
Mind if I take the helm?
I got a choice.
No.
Probably best to steer her as clear from the water as possible.
He's putting his arm around her.
My, it's lovely.
When she did stay on task, she found that Skellige's quests are all pretty straightforward. Basically, just stick with Yen and agree with whatever she says. I'll admit it's satisfying seeing her frustrated with getting a taste of what it's like to be the boyfriend for once, as she gets ordered around to do a bunch of stuff without any real explanation for how or why, other than it's important.
She always has some kind of gizmo, and I never know where she stores them.
Still, Yen knows what she's doing, and following the Skellige quest line allows the threads of Ciri's journey to finally come together and point us in the next direction.
The key to finding Ciri is that ugly thing Skell saw on the beach. That's what I think. You know, I saw something, or someone who looked just like that.
Where?
Yeah, the
Velen.
Baron.
So after traveling across the world searching high and low for Ciri's whereabouts, the answer lies with none other than the world's ugliest baby, who my girlfriend finds adorable, by the way.
Your Imperial Majesty, Yennefer.
Oh, little Uma!
I did not have you brought here for an exchange of courtesies.
As with all things in this game, getting him back to normal was never going to be straightforward or easy, and she had several hoops to jump through before she'd learn his true identity.
It's a person! Oh shit, that is not Ciri.
Avalok?
You know?
Avalon.
Where is Ciri?
The Isle of Mists.
She's in the Isle of Mists.
But it's not... She's not safe.
The game is so massive in scale, it's easy to forget that all of this has been about tracking down Ciri. Up until now, she's had mostly incomplete information about what happened to her and was dying to know the full story. Getting to play as this overpowered, mysterious girl only fueled her hunger for answers. Finally, enough pieces of the puzzle have fallen into place that she can get an explanation for what's going on, though. All that was left to do was set sail for the island and bring her home.
We're almost there. Whoa, wait, what? You're nearing a crucial point of the game's story. It's recommended that you save your game in a manual slave slot now. What?
This right here, this was the moment. This one screen was the cause of so much pain and suffering for the Witcher 3 playthrough. The trials and tribulations born from this one text box are truly something I could not have begun to imagine when I first made my girlfriend play.
I don't want to go to the Isle of Mists yet. I have shit to do and I look ridiculous.
At the risk of breaking the fourth wall to share with you all that at the current time of recording this narration, it is exactly 1 year since the first video released. 1 entire year since I first made my girlfriend play The Witcher 3. And ladies and gentlemen, 1 year later and we are still on this godforsaken text box. Oh god.
I'm sorry, Ciri will come back.
Probably the most painful thing about this is what she doesn't realize. Finding Ciri is like 80% of the game. She's basically at the last stretch of a marathon here, but too nervous to finish. The thing you gotta understand about my girlfriend is that she's a bit of a procrastinator. So when she decided she wasn't ready to progress forwards, that didn't mean she went and tackled a bunch of side quests. Poor Ciri's been stuck on the Isle of Mist for months, probably wondering what the hell is taking her so long.
Yeah, I look way more witchery. My other outfit was horrendous. Well, I mean, how can I be taken like, seriously, as, like, a respectable witcher looking like a jester.
Never having come face to face with a point of no return like this before, I never could have predicted the way she'd get cold feet. All progress came to a very unfortunate standstill. The biggest hurdle for her by far was the extreme FOMO she felt about not doing everything.
See, I look way more witchery.
Yeah, you look like you would fit right in with Lamford.
Totally. Before I would fit in with Dandelion.
She never had any intention of doing all the quests, and even still, she failed plenty of them along the way already. But all that was moot because when given the option of missing things in order to keep moving forwards, she just couldn't bring herself to do it.
We're trying to dismantle the swordsmithing monopoly in Novigrad.
Oh yeah.
Oh, noble cause.
Whoop whoop.
It's just an unfortunate side effect of falling so deeply in love with the game's world. Although, we can thank that same love for being what made her want to see things through and finish what she started. So the good news for you is the very fact you're watching this right now must mean we made it past the text box of doom. Hopefully it doesn't mean she went kicking and screaming, though.
We're back. I'm gonna go rescue Ciri. Yes. Deadly plot.
I don't know.
She's hugging him! Oh, she was a kid.
So tell me how it happened, step by step.
With Ciri finally found, she accomplished the goal she set out at the very beginning of this massive journey.
You were looking for us, we were looking for you. Times I thought you were just a step away.
Seriously?
Other times, felt like I was going around in circles.
She's still got a ways to go, but what she doesn't know can't hurt her.
I did it! I saved Ciri. Oh, she's wiggling her feet.
Welcome back, child.
Ciri! Yennefer! I've never heard Yennefer that happy.
The good news is, with a game of this quality, having more to do is never a problem. Not to mention, she's about to enter my personal favorite moment of the game, and due to her thoroughness, she isn't facing it alone. Thankfully, all the friends she's made along her journey are here to help.
Thank you for coming. The Wild Hunt will be here soon. They're coming for Ciri. Want to take her? We'll stop them. There aren't many of us, but I'd trust any of you with my life. Work together and we'll defeat
Look at
the
everyone
hunt.
here.
Remember, there's only a few of us. We have to help each other, work together.
Yeah.
If anything goes wrong and the hunt puts us on the defensive, we pull back, make a stand at the gates of the fortress. The inner courtyard is our last line of defense. If we don't stop them there, we're doomed.
This is badass. Boo, come in here. We're having war meetings.
This is my favorite cutscene of the whole game.
You gotta get in here.
Ciri, that's most important. Let's look at the map of the fortress, figure out the details.
This is such a cool meeting. Like, all my friends are here. We're gonna kick ass and defend our home and protect Ciri. She's ours.
To this day, few cutscenes get me as pumped as that one does. It's a satisfying reward to have everyone gathered around the war table. And I can't help but be proud that my girlfriend, the one who used to button mash through dialogue and skip anything optional, yes, that girlfriend, managed to gather a full crew to help her defend Kaer Morhen.
That was amazing! Wow! Two witchers doing witcher things.
Head back.
Go, Kira! There's Zoltan hitting their kneecaps.
The main courtyard!
Okay. Come on, everybody. Friends! We gotta get to Triss. Okay. The whole crew's here. Look at us. Look at us. We're so cool. Triss! Keep your fiery butt alive. I'm a badass, but so are all of my friends. Yo! And it heals too. Whoa! Ciri's on fire. Pull the lever, Kronk.
Escos, open the gate! We can retreat beyond it! Fall back!
Everyone's running.
You're not supposed to be out here.
Look at how sassy her hip hop is. Vesemir! No, Vesemir! What the fuck?
She'll not abandon you.
Ciri, get out of there! Uma!
It's hard not to feel somber after the big battle, especially for having lost one of her favorite characters. Admittedly, it feels a little abrupt the way the dust settles and everyone quickly leaves Kaer Morhen. The world of The Witcher is a harsh place, and I don't blame her for feeling a little upset that there wasn't more time to mourn. Fortunately, Geralt not only knows how to cheer up Ciri, but my girlfriend too.
Tell me, how do you do it?
What?
Always manage to pull yourself together.
There's a certain ancient method. Vesemir taught it to me, and Barman taught it to him.
Will you take me into the mountains and make me drink hemlock?
The Skellige druids have used it for centuries. It always works.
Hey!
Oh, and the what theme is playing?
You'll regret that.
They're having a snowball fight.
To be fair, it's hard not to smile while listening to the Gwent theme. In any case, in any other game, the Battle of Kaer Morhen would have been the big climactic ending, but Witcher 3 just keeps on going. What comes next always felt like a victory lap to me.
I'm so excited to see Johnny.
You're back. And I see you found your lass.
I have.
Revisiting the 3 locations for the main journey with Ciri in tow gives a nice chance to check in on some of our favorite characters while also getting revenge on some others.
Sheathe your sword, Ciri.
I do.
You give me quite the scare.
It's a nice way to fill in some of the blanks that were still missing from Ciri's story.
It's so good to see you, Bee.
And you, Ciri. Who's your charming companion?
My dad.
After spending the entire game tracking her down, it was super rewarding for my girlfriend to get some quality time with Ciri. You could always sense it from the urgency that he searched for her, but Geralt and Ciri have so much fun together, you can tell how important she is to him.
We need horses, but we'll have to find another way to get them.
Ho ho, I sense trouble.
I knew you'd warm to the notion. We mean to sneak into the man's stable. With 30 head, a few more or less won't make a difference in his life. Coming with?
Of course.
Oh my gosh. Let's steal some horses.
What can I do? Gotta help those in need.
Yes, yes, yes!
For my girlfriend, this section was an opportunity for her to build a relationship with Ciri herself, and that alone was a big enough reward for all the ups and downs of locating her.
She sees what we're doing.
There, that's better. Let's get out of here.
Yen's like, I can't bring you two anywhere.
With all that said, it's hard to ignore the elephant in the room, which is that the Wild Hunt is still out there. Fortunately for her, the story becomes fairly linear at this point, and completing main quests is the primary focus. There's not nearly as many side quests to get distracted with in the third act, and that's good news, because we've got a schedule to keep here.
Oh, there, Witcher. Roaches are for here.
No. Any signposts over there?
Oh god.
Run from that one.
I will ride Roach.
After tying up some of the loose ends and grappling with yet another point of no return screen, it was finally time to finish what she started a year ago. With all the necessary preparations to get things underway, it's finally time for her to enter the final fight of the game.
Witcher. I was hoping you'd come.
Please tell me it restores my potions.
Go on. Show me your spins, pirouettes, and flips. I want to watch.
Shit, he took me through a portal. Get over here, asshole. Nice. That one was for Ciri. Nice. Yennefer, thank God!
Where's Ciri?
What? I thought you knew.
All I know is Avalok might have betrayed us. I'll come back with Ciri.
I know! I'm gonna come back with Ciri. Trust me.
I've heard enough of your bullshit. Draw your weapon. Let's get this over with.
I am not your foe. I am merely helping
I don't
Ciri.
believe
I
that.
don't believe you. Can't. Not after all that's happened.
Will you believe me?
Feels like I'm talking to Yennefer. Leave with me, please.
I will, Geralt. Once I emerge from the tower. If I emerge.
There's gotta be another way.
What can you know about saving the world, silly? You're a witcher. This is my story, not yours. You must let me finish telling it.
Damn!
Good luck, Ciri. Don't keep me waiting.
She's got this. She sees something. Oh, she's seeing all the memories! Our snowball fight and our hugs. Oh God. Oh. Us destroyed the laugh. Yeah, fuck Avalok. We're just waiting for her to come back. What the hell?
Speak.
Ciri is dead.
What?
Witcher, I do not wish to see you ever again.
Likewise. The sword. It's her boost. She's alive! Yes!
Is it done?
Yes.
She's free!
Did he believe you?
I have no idea. Like it?
It's beautiful. May I?
Not here. You'll have ample opportunity soon enough, Witcher.
She's a Witcher!
Let's try it out then.
So that's a wrap for Witcher 3. If she's got a heart of stone, then there's still plenty of blood and wine to spill out there, not to mention a whole lot of Gwent cards to collect too. But as far as this story, that's the end of my girlfriend's Witcher playthrough. Maybe someday she'll pay a visit to Geralt and friends again, but for now, I've learned my lesson about making promises like that.
Does that mean I can still do Gwent?